Once again, your intrepid Fridays at First correspondent has been amazed by all things American. This week began for so many when the nation's headlines were dominated by the world's most famous groundhog. The legendary weather predictor from Pennsylvania noticed his shadow, and thus we have 6 more weeks of winter. I am, however, thinking of using Phil's predictive powers in an ecclesiastical manner. If he sees his shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of the current sermon series. This week I also heard from an aged sage that high school is the best years of your life. I'm not sure mine was, but someone told me recently, in my high school, the head teacher insisted that for the prom, all boys must invite a senior. I brought Miss Mabel. She had met Eisenhower. I did, in all seriousness, this week, however, come across a dating website that suits our seniors. It is called Carbon Dating. Despite it being early February, our senior staff are planning for Easter. This past Monday evening, the session agreed that holding 5 services for Easter Sunday would assist us with anticipated numbers attending. The services for April 20th are as follows: 8 a.m. in the sanctuary, 9:15 Worship and Arts Centre, 9:30 back in the sanctuary, 10:45 Worship and Arts Centre, and finally 11 a.m. also in the sanctuary. Additional details will be available the closer we get to Easter. Last Sunday, during worship, we were introduced to a major focus of our new strategic plan: mission, vision and values. This outcome prioritises discipleship in the life of our congregation. As a result, we're asking each of you to complete a congregational survey. The survey will take less than 15 minutes to complete. To access the survey, please see the church website, firstpresgreenville.org. As we continue to move through February and towards March, we are indeed planning for next month. Come and join us on Sunday, March the 2nd at 2 p.m. in the Worship and Arts Centre. Our concert, entitled Sacred Solos at First, will be a recital performed by professional musicians at First Pres. Vocal, piano, cello and oboe soloists will prepare our minds and hearts for the Lenten season. Tickets are $10 at firstpresgreenville.org/events. Once again, I'm delighted on your behalf to welcome my co-host Michelle Ward. This week, Michelle has a segment you will not want to miss. Michelle, welcome.
Well, thank you, Richard, and happy Friday, everyone. I hope you are getting ready for a fun weekend, maybe spending some time with family or friends, maybe cleaning out your closet. I don't know, just hopefully something exciting. I am really excited today because I am here to introduce you all to our guest, Amy O'Rourke. She has 40 years experience as a certified care manager. Amy is a licensed nursing home administrator, and she is the author of the book, The Fragile Years, Proven Strategies for the Care of Aging Loved Ones. And Amy is going to actually be in Greenville here at First Presbyterian Church on Saturday, March the 8th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., She is going to be leading a half-day seminar called The Fragile Years. And this seminar is really designed for adult children who may be in the stage or approaching the stage of caregiving for their parents, and or for their senior adults who want to help their caregivers navigate these fragile years. So welcome to the podcast, Amy.
I cannot tell you, Michelle, how glad I am to be here, and I look forward to the time I'm going to spend with your group on the 8th of March.
Well, we are excited to have someone like you with just such wonderful expertise and to come and talk to us. This is a really, really great and sensitive topic. Amy, tell us a little bit. I know I kind of described you, but tell us a little bit about yourself and why this season of life is so important to you.
Well, probably the biggest thing is I'm a certified care manager. Most people don't know what that is. So a care manager is a consultant that guides families when their older adults enter the fragile years. So then you say, well, what is the fragile years? Where being a consultant, I would have clients come into my office. He had elder parents in either the hospital or a nursing home or at home needing care or in some state of distress. and they had a surprised look on their face, like they weren't expecting this to happen.
Right.
With all the years that I've been in the industry, I think, how do you not know this is going to happen?
Right.
And then I realized, okay, you get pregnant and you get the book What to Expect When You're Expecting. Okay,
Yes.
now I know what's going to happen. It
Right.
doesn't really prepare you, but and I realized there's not a book out there that says when your parents enter the fragile years. And what is the fragile years? Well, it's a time of life, 3 to 5 years. They're in their 80 somethings, and they are fragile, and you have to provide care and help to them in a very different way than if they were in their 60s and having a robust early retirement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, gosh, and I tell you, Amy, I'm that person. My mom is almost 83 and she is still driving. She's still active, but you notice the slowdown. You notice the stress when they have to do something with a new insurance plan or finding a new doctor. And sometimes I still feel like I'm the little girl and I want her to have all the answers. So this is going to be really helpful for so many people. So at the seminar, tell me, what are some of the topics that we should expect to learn more about while you're here?
Well, probably the first thing is I'm going to tell you what you don't know, because you enter in this time of life with the nagging feeling of what I don't know, or worse, you enter into it thinking that you know what you're doing and you really don't.
Right.
So there's foundational information, and I'll divide it into a couple topics. So financial information, insurance information, Medicare. What foundation do you need to know, like just as a foundational level, in order to navigate the care? So financial information, medical information, and then something that I call transitions, like being in the hospital and then they need to go to a rehab center. Well, what is a rehab center? Or they're at home and they need a little bit of care. What's assisted living? What can I expect? How do you pay for these things? Transitions is moving from one type of living to another, or staying at home and bringing care in. So those are the kinds of things. What is hospice? Just having a foundation, so then when something happens, you have a category or a compartment to put it in, open up the book and look and see, what do I need to know here?
Gosh, I can actually attest and say I know nothing about any of it. And so I know I'm the perfect candidate for this. And I know there's so many people in our church and you see it. We have such a wonderful, large congregation, multi-generational. We've got a very thriving senior adult community. So I know that this would be something they are interested in. And I know that we have a lot of children who are helping care for their adult children who are caring for their senior parents. So I think this is a must attend if people are in town on March the 8th, Amy. I really do. And is there anything else you want to add to it, or?
Well, I'd add one thing, and that is I did a presentation to older adults in their 70s and 80s, and they got so much out of it with the importance of reaching out to their children. So this isn't just for families that are taking care of somebody they know who is older.
Right.
It's also for the older adult learning, how do I need to communicate to my children so that we're working together and they're not bossing me around?
Absolutely. Because I can go ahead and tell you, my mama will not be bossed around. And I'm sure there's a lot of other ones too. Well, and you don't want those latter years of their life for them to feel like children. They should have a say. They've earned it. They should have a say in their care, and especially for many of them who will be paying for it. So I love that. I think it's wonderful. And, not to, just because they're aging doesn't mean that they aren't capable and of helping make their own decisions. So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely don't want to wait until an unexpected health crisis or an emergency event occurs. So we are really, really happy you're coming, and we hope that we can just fill up the room for this event. And you can register for the event online at firstpresgreenville.org/events. Again, it's going to be on Saturday, March the 8th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Doors open at 8:30. Amy's going to be here. It's going to be in the fellowship hall. The cost of the seminar is $25. I think the information that you're going to get for that far outweighs the cost. There also will be the option to purchase the book. And Amy's going to be here, and she's going to be really excited to help you and your families or you as an individual. So, Amy, we're excited. We can't wait to see you.
I can't wait to be there too. Thank you for asking me, and I'll see you on the 8th.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Michelle, thank you. We deeply appreciate your segment each Friday. In our next segment, entitled Inquiring Minds Want to Know, this week I'm answering a listener's question. And the question related to that rather serious topic of Christian nationalism. And the phrase Christian nationalism has become popular in the media and on social network platforms over the last few years. Yet there is no clean and tidy definition for Christian nationalism. It is not a formal denomination or defined by a statement of beliefs. Generally speaking, religious scholars and sociologists have described it as a belief that the United States is a country only defined by Christianity. In practice, this means the government should take steps to maintain the country's Christian roots and identity, and the government should advocate Christian values and pass laws and enact policies that reflect those values. Christian nationalism is often thought of as being more about political outcomes than specific Christian beliefs and practices. The term Christian nationalism is often used to describe another person's political and religious beliefs rather than as a label someone uses for themselves. From what I have read, the term Christian nationalism is often used in a disparaging fashion of others whom you disagree with. My own view is that when it comes to Christians participating in our national life, our focus should be on the need to pray for our country and actively serve the communities we live in. I suspect that is exactly what Christ would encourage us to do. If you have questions you would like me to answer on Fridays at First, please drop me an email at podcast@firstpresgreenville.org. This Sunday, our Moment for Mission will focus on the excellent work of Miracle Hill and launch this year's Yellow Bag project. Please give a warm First Pres welcome this week to President and CEO of Miracle Hill Ministries. Ryan will be joined by the men from the Overcomers programme and will participate in worship. At the 8:30 service, Hopkins Lachlan Newton, 6 months, will be with us for his baptism as his older sister Bridges accompanies Mom Caroline and Dad Andy to look on with great pride. We're also continuing on Sunday morning a recent series of studies entitled Flourishing, Healthy Then, Healthy Now, Acts in 2025. My senior colleague, the Reverend Dr. Mark Hutton, will be leading us on a study of Acts chapter 4, 1 through 13. Please take a few moments to read this passage as you prepare to join us for Sunday morning. Unfortunately, I will not be with you Sunday morning as I am scheduled to be with one of our sister churches in San Antonio. I will be preaching Sunday and conducting several seminars to assist the congregation with the development of their strategic plan. Meanwhile, I trust you have a great weekend and I look forward to welcoming you on our Fridays at First podcast next week.